All right, let's talk about something that pretty much every horse owner dreads, especially when the weather turns wet: mud. And with mud comes that one big headache: mud fever. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down: what it is, how to stop it before it starts, and what to do if it shows up. Let's get right into it.
Oh yeah, this scene. You know the one. It's that dreary, wet day. You bring your horse in, run your hand down their leg, and you feel it. Those crusty, bumpy scabs. Yep, that sinking feeling is something we've all felt. It's super common, but that doesn't make it any less of a pain to deal with.
So that all too familiar problem? It's got a name. Let's get right into it. What is mud fever, really? At its heart, mud fever, or its fancy name, pastern dermatitis, is basically a skin infection. Now, the first thing to know is that it's not contagious. Your horse isn't going to catch it from his buddy in the next stall. It all kicks off when the skin's natural armor gets weakened, which flings the door wide open for bacteria that are just hanging out in the environment to sneak in and cause a whole lot of trouble.
Okay, so what are you actually looking for? Well, the number one sign is those nasty, crusty scabs. And if you peek underneath, you'll usually find some really raw, sore skin. The whole area might feel hot or a bit puffy, and yeah, your horse will probably flinch when you touch it. It's painful. Sometimes you'll even see some oozy discharge. In the worst cases, you're looking at hair loss and even lameness.
To really beat this thing, we've got to understand the why, right? What is actually going on under the skin that causes all this mess? Let's geek out for a second.
Now this is pretty cool actually. For the longest time, everyone pointed the finger at this one single type of bacteria. But what we know now is that it's way more complicated. It's actually a polymicrobial infection. Think of it less like a single bad guy and more like a whole gang of different bacteria that all decide to crash the party once the skin's defenses are down.
And the slide breaks it down perfectly. It's like a perfect storm in 3 simple steps. First, all that constant wet and mud just softens the skin up, stripping away its natural protective oils. Then, because the skin is so soft and fragile, it gets these tiny little nicks and cuts in it. And boom, step 3, that's the open invitation for all those bacteria to march right in and set up shop.
And you know, some horses are just, well, they're more prone to it, right? Those gorgeous, heavy feathers can be a real problem because they just trap all that dampness right against the skin. Horses with pink skin, like on white socks, tend to be more sensitive too. But it's not just the field. A wet, dirty stall is just as bad. And here's a big one. You can actually cause mud fever by washing your horse's legs too much and not getting them bone dry afterwards.
All right, now that we know the enemy, let's talk about how to fight back. And honestly, your best defense is a good offense. Prevention is everything. It's so much easier to prevent this stuff than it is to treat it.
This brings us to the age-old question, the one every single one of us is faced when bringing in a horse who looks like they've been swimming in a chocolate milkshake. Do you grab the hose right away, or do you let it dry and brush it off?
And the answer is, it depends. There's a time and a place for both. If the mud is super thick and caked on, yeah, washing is probably your best bet. But, and this is the non-negotiable part, you have to dry the legs completely after. For just a light coating of mud, the wait and brush method is often way better, simply because you're not getting the skin wet at all.
But it goes beyond just washing, right? You gotta think about their whole environment. Can you put some gravel or mats down by the gate to give them a dry spot to stand? Is their bedding really clean and dry? A good barrier cream can be your best friend, but remember the golden rule. Only put it on clean, totally dry legs. Otherwise, you're just trapping the enemy inside. And you know, nothing, absolutely nothing, beats just running your hands down their legs every single day to catch things early.
Okay, but what happens if, despite all your hard work, you find those scabs? First off, don't panic. You can totally handle this. You just need a calm, consistent plan. So let's walk through it step by step.
Step 1, and this is the absolute most important thing. You have to change the environment. Get your horse out of the mud, period. A nice, clean, dry stall is what you're aiming for. This is the foundation for everything else you're about to do.
All right, next up, we clean. But the magic word here is soften. We're not scrubbing, we're soaking. Use a warm, gentle antiseptic wash and just let it sit there for about 10 minutes. The whole point is to soften up those hard, painful scabs so they're easier to deal with.
And once everything's nice and soft, you can start to, and I mean gently, remove any loose scabs.
You have to do this because the bacteria are having a party in the dark, damp space right underneath them. Getting the scabs off lets the air get to the skin and helps it heal.
And I'm going to say this again because it is so important. Do not rip them off. Forcing a scab off before it's ready is super painful, it damages the skin even more, and it just sets your healing time way back. If it doesn't want to come off today, fine. Leave it and try again tomorrow.
Okay, after you've cleaned the area, you have to get it bone dry. Gently pat it down with a clean towel. Then it's time for the cream. And here's another pro tip. Less is more. Don't goop it on. A thick layer of greasy cream can actually trap moisture in, which is the last thing you want. A nice, thin layer is all you need.
And for the final step, if your vet says so, you can cover the area with a clean, dry bandage. And then, you do it all again tomorrow and the next day. Consistency, you guys, is the key to winning this battle. You have to keep at it every single day until that skin is healthy and pink again.
Okay, now for a really important part. Most of the time, you can handle this at home, but you absolutely have to know when you're in over your head, and it's time to call in the professionals. So, let's talk about the red flags.
So you got to ask yourself, honestly, is what I'm seeing something I can manage, or is it time to call the vet?
And if you see any of these signs, don't wait. Just pick up the phone. If the leg is really swollen or your horse is lame, that can mean the infection has gone deeper, which is an emergency. If you've been treating it for a few days and it's getting worse, not better, call the vet. If the horse is clearly in a lot of pain, or if more than one leg is affected, definitely get your vet involved. They have the tools to figure out exactly what's going on.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's really simple, right? Your best shield is prevention, just being on top of things every day. And if it does happen, your best weapon is gentle, patient, and super consistent treatment.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. You have the game plan now. So take a really good, honest look at your daily routine. Is it really set up to protect your horse? Because a few small tweaks now could honestly save you and your horse a world of hurt later on.